All right. Do me a favor. Scroll down on the OBS where the.
Already got it.
Okay. Why did you undo those?
I thought you were supposed to.
No. Okay, scroll down. Okay, that's what I'm looking for right there. I wanted to make sure that was working.
We must talk calmly.
No, we don't have to talk calm. We could be perfect. We can be normal. Just don't get in your annoying screechy voice.
You're a butt.
Yeah, I am. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the tonight Rich and Miranda show. Raj is feeling a bit under the weather to be on air, so he is going to be station managing for us tonight. So instead, we are here. It's me and you tonight. So here we go. So I am Rich, and you are
Miranda.
That's right, and this is the show. So, yes. Folks, it's been an interesting time since we were last on the show.
Lots of stuff has happened.
Yeah, lots of things have happened. There's been a lot of stuff that's gone on concerning Florida. Today was the first day that the kids went back to school. In that Florida school, they did a half day today. So, good for them for going back.
Did they provide safe spaces?
Okay, I'm not going to go with the whole that make jokes concerning snowflakes when you're in a school and your friends get shot up by a deranged lunatic. I think they deserve safe spaces right now and puppies and things like that, because
Puppies are good.
I'm pretty sure, you know, for people that for the kids that went back there, I mean, walking back into those halls after that tragic incident.
I can only imagine how hard it was, like, you walking, and then you look over at the corner at, like, locker 303. Well, that's where Susie...
Well, imagine being in the classroom and certain seats are empty. Okay. And then they'll be doing a half day again. They'll be doing a half day again tomorrow, and then a half day on Friday, and then Monday they will go back to a full schedule. Mm-hmm. So, but since then there's been all kinds of debate over all kinds of things. Whether or not we should arm teachers. Well,
other countries do it.
I'm not a huge fan of arming teachers, and the reason being is because look at our school system now. And how our kids are getting educated. Do you want some of these teachers to actually have guns?
Well, no.
In a class?
No, I think there would have to be definitely a rigorous training regimen and things of that nature. I mean, like, you think about the countries that do have teachers with weapons. Mm-hmm. Everyone, like in Israel, it's a mandatory 2 years military service.
Yeah.
For everyone, so they're trained on it.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem if the United States went to something like that where we had a mandatory. You turned 18, you do 2 years in the military.
I think that would be an excellent idea.
I think it would, because I think it would teach
everyone would get gun training.
Well, and I think it would also teach respect. It would, and appreciation.
It would, especially if we could get like the old army or old military mentality back. I mean, the military today is not.
You mean bring people like me out of mothballs?
Yeah, I mean, like, I heard stories of, my uncle getting smacked in the back of the head with a 2x4. He had his helmet on.
Yeah.
But still, he got smacked in the back of the head with a 2x4 because he messed up.
Well, I got hit in the head with a rock on my Kevlar, but that was to prove that it worked because I got caught without it on.
Yeah.
I didn't have oh, well, thanks. It was my birthday on Monday.
But, like, that's not happening anymore. Like, it's, you private, do 5 push-ups.
Yeah, and, every mentality has changed and everything else, and I'm pretty sure if I was a drill sergeant now...
You'd lose your mind.
I'd probably lose my mind because I would be sitting there trying to tell people, look, I'm trying to train these people to stay alive. How to effectively kill the enemy and survive. Not, let's stop the fight. Stop the fight.
You got a boo-boo, we gotta go get a Band-Aid.
Okay. No, no, you're perfectly kill mill. Don't worry about that, brother. So
I agree with bacon.
Yeah, no.
Service gear.
Gilzer, I'm. That's in the storylines. Thanks for jumping in on that. We'll be talking about that in a minute. One of the other things that came up since this whole deal is they had an officer that was on the school grounds when the shooting began. He moved to a location outside of a building and took cover. Never once made an attempt to go inside.
And these are the people we're supposed to be trusting with our lives?
Well, it was one officer. Then supposedly 3 other officers arrived and they did not go inside. Now, we'll say from receiving active gunman training and getting certified in active gunman teaching, if you are alone and there's an active shooter situation, you are not supposed to go in to the building without backup.
Right. No, I understand
that. Okay, because you don't know how many shooters there are.
So did he go and take cover and not call for backup, or did he call for backup while he was taking cover?
No. They had already dispatched people en route to him.
When did he finally make his appearance? I guess that would be the real question.
Well, no, as soon as the shots started ringing out, a 911 call went out that there was a shooter in the school. They called him. He was on the property somewhere. Now, remember, this school has 11 buildings.
Yes.
So it's not a small. It's not a small campus.
Bacon, real quick. At the time, while the shooting was going on, they suspected that there were potentially 2 shooters.
Yeah. In fact, we listened to the scanner while it was actively going on right before we went on air. And they were not aware whether or not there was 1 or 2. And that was one. At that point, they had probably 150 law enforcement officers on scene at that point, and they still weren't sure if it was only 1. Okay, so the officer got chastised, and everybody said he was a coward because he didn't go in. He went and found cover, and reported back what he was aware of at that moment while there was officers en route. The problem is 3 other officers arrived on scene, and they as well took cover outside. At no point now did they make an attempt to enter the building.
Were they given any orders to not enter the building?
The problem is when the sheriff of the county was interviewed concerning this, the sheriff of the county has thrown the campus, I guess ISD officer or whatever, however you want to call him, the campus police officer. Anyway, has thrown him completely and totally under the bus. Mm-hmm. And the sheriff has made himself look like he is the hero in all this. Okay, resource officers. Some call them resource officers. And Austin,
we call them DARE officers in North Carolina.
And Austin, it's the Austin ISD Police Department. They're a subgroup of the Austin Police Department, but they're assigned to the Austin ISD.
Right.
But anyway, and he's sat there making himself look like the hero, and he's made that officer that was on the site look like an absolute coward. Let me tell you something. If I'm the only officer,
and you're not sure of the situation,
and I'm not sure how many gunmen I got, there is no point to me running in that building and trying to play the hero, because the moment I try to get the beat on one of them, if there's a second one, the other one's going to be not far behind.
Right.
And I'm one person. And I can only make one maneuver. Now, I will say that the 2 teachers that lost their lives in that were heroes, because they stood between the gunmen and their kids.
Yes.
And they lost their lives. Okay? But an officer going into a building alone against an unknown account of assailants or assailant with superior firepower at that point does no good.
No, I mean, it only gets yourself killed, and you can't do anything for anyone else. Once you are dead.
All you're doing at that point is adding another victim to the mix. That's really you are. And they teach you in emergency response that one of the things you do not do is add another patient to the situation.
Right. I mean, it's just like in the military, we're both familiar with the procedure. If one of your buddies goes down and you cannot get to him by yourself.
Does it? Did I miss a step somewhere?
No, it says Rich and Miranda.
Oh, that right there.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. Well,
shit happens.
Yeah.
But anyways, as I was saying, in the military, we went through a few training videos and stuff. I never actually had to deal with the situation. But when one of your buddies gets caught out by himself, we had a kitchen fire. Sorry about that.
Yeah, if you see all the smoke,
that was what this was about. The stove was smoking and.
Yes.
But in the military, you were trained. If one of your buddies goes down in an open area in a hot zone, you do not go after that body.
Nope.
You wait until either you have the rest of your squad or platoon with you,
Or
and
you,
even then, it's...
Or the hot zone's no longer hot and you have control of it.
Right. And it's all play by ear from that point, so...
And pretty much all you can do is sit there and watch. But anyway, so, I mean, like I said, it's been an ongoing thing, and it keeps going on, and it's a mess everywhere. It's a mess in politics. And
both sides are...
nobody's moving anywhere on it. They really aren't. And I didn't expect it to be any different. But speaking of which, today... to add to the mess of things, and I don't know what the story is with this guy, and I'm starting to wonder if this guy isn't trying to prove a point. Now, I'll tell you what it is. A teacher's been taken into custody after allegedly firing at least one shot inside of a Georgia high school classroom Wednesday. Police said Jesse Randall Davidson, 53, social studies teacher, had a firearm in the class, fired a shot, the kids ran out of the room, and then he barricaded himself in the room.
Desktop?
What's that?
Desktop.
Yeah, well, he fired a shot.
Yeah.
Didn't fire it at anybody in particular, and then barricaded himself in a room, and Sheriff's Department had to go, or I believe state police had to send in SWAT and go get him out of there. They have him in custody. Okay, so part of me is wondering after reading this story, because of the conversation that's going on about the possibility, because Donald Trump has said it, and a couple other lawmakers have said it, about the possibility of arming teachers.
Right.
If this wasn't some stunt to prevent that from happening.
I mean, but you gotta think too, where does, I'm not sure which city this was in. We just know it was in a Georgia high school classroom. Georgia tends to be a relatively conservative state. So I think if this was an attempt...
Don't tap on the desk.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that thing's going to pick it up, and all they're going to hear is thump, thump, thump.
If this was an attempt to stop from arming teachers, I feel like it was asinine, because we all know that's not going to happen.
No, and then, of course, the counter-argument to it's going to be, well, if there was another teacher in the building that had a gun, and the moment he did that, he could have run right in and put a hole in him.
Pretty much. I mean, it helps no one, and it does nothing good for anyone.
I think it just makes the anti-gun lobbyists...
It gives them
even
more to
more
play
power.
off of. It gives them definitely a lot more to play off of. I mean, you're looking at... I follow Twitter. Mm-hmm. I have been watching some of the leading members and the liberal lobbies and everything like that, and the things that they are saying.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
About gun control. I mean, it is stupid. It's like a such and such pistol can hold 45 rounds. And it's like, I'm pretty sure the clip's only 8 and you can have 9 because you put one in the chamber. So...
Well, my 9mm stayed on my hip, and I carried 16. 15 in the mag, one in the chamber.
But the average civilian, could they purchase?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, like my 9mm. Okay, so when I was law enforcement, everybody else liked their Springfield, their SDs, or their Springfield XDs, and their Glocks and everything else. Not me. I had a Ruger P89. I had 2 of them, 9mm. Mm-hmm. Okay, outshoot anybody on the range with them too. They're like, oh, those things suck. But anyway, I carry multiple 15-round magazines, and I always kept one in the chamber. So the only time I was down to 15 when I put a mag in is because I went completely empty and went to slide lock. Okay, so no, you can buy 15-round magazines. 15-round magazines are not banned. Anything over 15-round magazines.
Okay.
Are part of that ban. You're not.
But
that ban went away.
Nowhere near 45.
No, and nobody has it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There are some weapons out there that do hold a double stack magazine, but not a lot of them. Oh yeah, and I got reminded about this. I'll bring that up in a minute, Skylar. By the way, for those of you that are watching on YouTube and not on Facebook, I have Facebook Live down here and I have YouTube up there. And folks, do remember on Facebook, we only keep this going for so long before we switch it completely over to YouTube. If you go on my Facebook page, you'll see the YouTube link. It'll take you right to our live channel right now. Or you could just type Raj and Rich in YouTube and it will come right up. So anyway, yeah, no, when certain bans did expire. So yeah, you could buy a 30 round drum.
Yeah.
You know, and put it on, but you can still, you're not allowed to buy an automatic weapon. And that's the other thing that's been kind of irritating me about this. FN57 holds 20 round mags, fires 5.7s, and okay.
That's still not 40.
That's still not still not 45 rounds.
This is the magic number right now. It's 45.
Well, also don't mention the other stupid thing that's going around. Okay.
Oh, hey, I have $130. Can I purchase an AR-15 from you?
Exactly. The thing about you can go buy an AR-15 for $130. No, you can't. I mean, you can buy an AR-15 for $130.
It ain't gonna work.
It's plastic. You can go buy an airsoft AR-15 for $130. It's not gonna be a real good one either.
Someone will lose an eye.
Well, yeah, but even the real good ones that are replica AR-15s that are airsoft are still like $500.
Yeah, there's no way in the world that you're going to be able to buy an Armalite 15.
Yes, believe it or not, regardless of what the liberal media likes to tell you, AR does not stand for assault rifle. AR is the Armalite.
And if you want to know the history behind that, Google it.
Yeah. Well, except that, and we'll get into the Google part of that.
Yeah.
Later.
Oh, yeah. Maybe you can't even do that anymore.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? Because following all this and everything else, which leads into our next story, Walmart today announced that it's going to be raising its gun purchase age in its stores to 21, meaning if any Walmart you walk into now, if you want to buy a weapon, because they sell shotguns, they sell standard hunting rifles, some do sell handguns, there are some that sell other types of firearms.
Right.
Okay, you must be 21 years of age in order to begin the background check at Walmart.
I agree with this.
I don't have a problem with it either. Me being a very pro-gun guy, I think everybody should have a gun that, is sane. Well, not like sane, like, not you're licking windows and talking to bushes. Those people shouldn't own guns. Okay. But I think everybody should have the right to own a firearm. I don't think anybody's right to own a firearm is taken away.
Right.
Okay. However, I do agree that, you should probably be 21 and the restriction the government's proposing on this bill. If you are a emergency first responder, or if you are if you're a member of the military, mm-hmm. Those people under the age of 21, or if your job requires it, like there's some armed security that are 18 years old, you can purchase a firearm under the age of 21. Anybody else, you have to be 21 to buy a firearm, and I don't have a problem with this.
I don't either. I mean, I think it's a lot safer. I mean, how come you legally can't purchase alcohol until you're 21? And I know people are going to get mad about that, but some people just aren't mature enough to handle it.
I met a lot of people but I can tell you right now, I've met a lot of people that are in their 30s that shouldn't be drinking alcohol.
Exactly. I feel like this is a good idea, and it's a lot better than what other businesses have decided to do.
Well, you take it, for instance, Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods were the first ones to do this, to immediately implement the government's suggestion about, hey, let's raise our purchase of guns to 21. Dick sells a lot of firearms.
Yes, they are a sporting goods, which includes hunting.
Yes,
store.
But they do sell quite a bit of firearms out of Dick's. And unfortunately, Dick's was in the news back in October because one of the rifles that the Las Vegas shooter bought came out of Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay? So, unfortunately, Dick's has gotten itself in the news in some negative ways over and over again. But anyway, Dick's has completely stopped selling the Armalite 15, the AR-15, okay, and anything else that could be classified as an assault-style weapon from its counters. Yeah, you're committing assault with a lighter. That's now an assault weapon. Okay, so now Dick's has just pulled them off the shelf altogether.
Right.
Which is their right. They're a private business. Now, I will tell you that Bass Pro Shops and the other big outdoor place, Cabela's, their sales have skyrocketed. They can't keep ARs on the shelf. And of course, every time something bad happens, a scare goes out that they're going to start banning weapons and ammunition, and people go nuts and start buying a bunch of them.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it happened with.
Okay. So to give you a definition of assault-style weapon. Okay, the definition of assault-style weapon by what the government defines it as is anything that is considered a military style or designed in the style of a military weapon or military grade weaponry.
I love that word, military grade.
Okay.
It's not that good, guys.
Okay, military grade weaponry or currently used by the military, or can fire multiple high-powered ammunition in a very short span of time. Like a semi-automatic that fires extremely rapidly. Now, the thing is if you watch YouTube and some of these trick shooters, they could take a shotgun, a pump-action shotgun, and they could fire all
Like
six in a tube in literally a couple seconds. Okay? So, the definition of assault style, unfortunately, leaves a lot to be questioned.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like if it looks...
If it looks like it could be a military weapon. So the next time you see somebody running around with an automatic grenade launcher in your neighborhood, let them know that is an assault weapon.
It is. It's an assault and die weapon.
Well, it is. Well, first of all, it's an automatic. So if somebody's walking around with one of the with a Mark 19 down the street,
it's a one-round burst.
No, it's not. You pull the trigger, it will keep
Oh,
lobbing grenades out of that thing. Okay? But anyway, but that's the definition varies among regulating jurisdictions. Just like I said, it's open-ended based off of whose definition.
Right.
Usually includes semi-automatic firearms with detachable magazines or a pistol grip. Okay. Which, once again, anything that's considered military, whether it be military grade, military style, military look.
If it's got that little thing on the front and then the I don't know gun parts, like I should.
What the hell are you talking about?
The thing that you took off. I don't remember the name for it right now. Don't pay attention to me.
Are you talking about at the end of the barrel? You're talking about the sight?
No, not the sight.
The sight tower?
No, the upper receiver. There it is. Upper receiver.
The upper receiver.
So if it has an upper receiver on it.
No, that's not entirely true because you can get a 203? No, not 203. They do have pistols have upper receivers. And I'm trying to think the SKS has an upper receiver, which is a hunting rifle.
I couldn't remember the word. It's been like 3 years since I got out of the military.
Let me ask you a question. When you're walking around with your M16, just a side note, did you hold it by the handle that was on the top, thinking that was a carry handle?
On the top? No,
did
I
you
held
think
it
that
like
was
that.
But did you ever grab it by that thinking it was a carry handle?
No.
Where your sight sits on the back?
No, the sight sits on it. Like, why would I fuck with my sight?
Well, I know that, but it has a little thing, the bridge that comes up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You grabbed it by that, didn't you?
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I knew better.
Okay.
Our drill sergeants told us they make us do bad things.
Yes, you don't do that. But Fister, or Raj, our station manager, says he has. It's the suitcase handle Armalite. No, and the thing... But the thing is you're not supposed to do that because if you grab it by that, okay, it will fuck up your sight.
Yeah, I know. And we
Badly.
were told they're like, you only get to 0 once. And we were like, okay. And they're like, don't fuck with any of the sights. Got it.
Yeah, so there you go. We need to have a refresher course for Miranda.
You're a button. I hate you.
Okay, so anyway, now, speaking of AR-15s, this is going to basically be our last story considering guns, and then we're going to move on. So we'll move on to an area that you may know about. Okay?
Ooh.
All right.
I might know something.
We'll leave guns here in a minute.
I know about guns. I'm just not great with them. Like, I didn't sit there like, so this piece right here, its serial number is this.
Well,
and it does this. And it fits like this.
What'd you shoot?
M16.
I know that. What was your score?
Sharpshooter.
What was your badge?
Sharpshooter.
So you barely qualified.
23.
I got 40 out of 40 every time.
Listen, I am just not that great at firing a weapon, so.
Yeah. I got, what is that, expert marksman? It's, yeah, the expert.
Expert is 40 out, like 38
it's
to 40.
38 to 40 and up. Yeah, 37
you can't get
to 40
and up. There's only 40 targets.
I was drill sergeant, goddammit.
Well, yeah,
I could shoot
you
more
helped
shit.
the idiots pass.
I hit like 900 targets one day.
Good gosh.
But that was, all right. So anyway, then to their next story about weapons. If you guys noticed It's going around Facebook. Razarin, I caught that post today, and I went and searched it for myself.
My buddy Kenny posted something similar.
If you type in just AR-15 in Google, it will give you all kinds of information. But the moment you go to shopping, nothing. It's gone. You go to type in AK-47 in shopping, and you'll find all kinds of shit. Somehow the AR-15 has been completely removed because somebody tried to say, well, they're just ads and nobody that sells AR-15s pays for ads. Not true. 2 months ago, I saw that I got a notification and looked it up.
I can show them.
That Cabela's was selling a specific type of AR-15 for it was like 33% discount for the holidays. And all I did was type in AR-15 into Google
and
in shopping. No, I typed AR-15 into Google shopping. This was back in December. And there was Cabela's. There was all kinds of Dick's Sporting Goods was on there. There was a whole bunch of places with links. And then, of course, somebody said today you shouldn't be able to buy a AR-15 online.
For why?
Technically, you can't. I mean, you can. You can
window shop.
You can order it. No, you can order it. However, it has to be sent. For you to get it, it has to go to a licensed dealer, and then the licensed dealer is required to do a background check on you before you can walk out of the store with it. So technically, you can buy the gun online, but you still have to go through the background checks and everything else at a local dealer. Right. So, like, if you buy one at Cabela's online right now, okay, you have to go down the street. You have to find.
You have to go to Cabela's.
No. You have to go to a gun dealer. You have to find a reputable gun dealer here in Killeen, Harker Heights. They usually charge you like $20, and what they do is you give that address. Actually, you just give them their ID number to Cabela's. Cabela's just looks it up in the system, sees it's a licensed dealer, and then they turn around and they ship that firearm to that dealer. The dealer calls you and says, hey, your firearm has arrived. Now, if it's a good dealer who's expediting things, he will go ahead and have you do the background check before the firearm ever shows up.
Right.
Because there's no point in you coming into the store with the firearm to get the firearm if you don't even pass the background check.
Right.
And then at that point, you'll pay him the $25 for Texas background check, or the Brady check. You paid him his fee for receiving it, and then you walk out the door with your firearm. So to answer that question somebody had before, you can't, you cannot just go buy an AR-15 online, and just it shows up at home.
So I just got a message from a viewer.
Okay.
And it's in a picture of an M4. That's an M4.
Yeah, both of them are 223. One's an M16. One's an M4.
That's an M4.
Oh well, no, yeah, okay.
That's a.
Oh, that's the 7.62 one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so yeah, that is an M4 because the M4 was a 7.62.
It's got the adjustable butt stock. M4s have adjustable butt stocks. M16s do not.
Yes, they do. Mine did.
Not like that.
Mine
didn't.
Mine did.
Okay, my bad.
You got to remember what
I was in a Patriot unit and we got shit. Short people got the M4s because they had an adjustable butt stock.
Hey, Blake is watching.
Hi, Blake.
But yeah, no. No, but the collapsible butt stock, there was some if you went into your armory, some of them had them, some of them didn't. Armorers in the Army, for people who weren't constantly going out and shooting all the time, did not like them because y'all didn't know how to take them apart and clean them.
We never
butt stocks, those
Yeah.
collapsible butt stocks, most people do not know how to tear them down and clean them. So armorers didn't like them. But anyway, yeah, what you're looking at there, you're looking at two of them that have the same firepower, the same rate of fire. In fact, that one, based off of the rifle on it, the barrel on it is actually more accurate.
Right.
In fact, for those of you wondering what the hell we're even talking about, hold on. It's just because the way the light is. You got to turn it a certain way to get it.
One day we will be able to put pictures on the screen.
Okay, so
Today
anyway.
is not that day.
All right, so anyway, one of them is a hunting rifle. The other one is the AR. Well, if you live in Nevada or any state that has really long range areas for hunting, an AR-15 is a very effective hunting rifle. Very effective. Because not like you guys on the East Coast where you're within yards of your target. Out in Nevada, when you're hunting, you could be 150 yards to 200 yards away from your target.
Right.
So you need long range and high power in order to get it there and drop what you're going after. All right. So yes, rifling. Rifling is the grooves that are cut into a barrel in a spiral shape in order to give the round spin so it cuts through the air more effectively, travels more distance, and flies straighter.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like the concept of when you throw a football. Because you start and then you flick your wrist to make it spin. Right?
Spiral. It's a tight spiral.
Whatever. I don't sports. We all know that I don't sports.
Yeah, we saw your show. M16 has a 1/16 rifling. The M4 has a 1/8 rifling. Yes, the M16 is a more accurate, but remember too, the M4 was 7.62. The M16 was 2.23. The 2.23 round is a slightly smaller round, but they produced a much better grain in the casing in order for its. And we don't need to get into FPSs and everything else. All right, so let's move on because we could talk guns all day. Well, I could. You would kind of be sitting there like that. Yeah. So anyway,
moving on. Who likes science? Because I know about this class in Florida that absolutely fucking loved their science class. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you, I go to science every day. I saw the picture of this teacher too. So. And I'll make a comment. You want to go ahead with a story? You go ahead with a story. I'm gonna light a cigarette.
A science teacher, age 26, sent nudes, had sex with a teen student. What? This is so English not happening.
What?
Science teacher sent nudes, had sex romps with teen boy student. Cop says Florida middle school teacher is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 14-year-old male student and sending him nude photos. Her name was Stephanie Peterson, and she was arrested on Wednesday and charged with 2 counts of lewd or lascivious. I don't know that word. Lascivious battery, and 1 count of transmission of harmful materials to a minor, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office reported. God damn.
Okay. See, I went ahead. I know when me and Raj normally do it, okay, we'll read the whole story, so we only put the teaser in there so we know what we're talking about. But I wasn't sure if you were aware of some of these stories, so I put the main body of the article in there for you.
No, I was looking at it. That's crazy.
Okay, now first of all, this woman needs to be in jail.
Yes.
She's having sex with a 14-year-old boy.
Even if it
doesn't matter.
It's wrong.
It doesn't matter. She's 26 years old and a teacher. There is a certain, trust factor you have in a teacher, and that's violating that trust.
Right.
She's using her position of authority in order to take advantage of a 14-year-old child. And what I don't understand is why in the world does a woman who looked as good as she did, she was gorgeous,
had no business fucking around with teenage
why
boys.
in the hell is she picking up on a 14-year-old boy? Okay.
Women are pedophiles too?
No, but I'm pretty goddamn certain she could walk into any bar or club she wanted if she wanted to get some, and have no problem getting it, and not have to worry about going to prison. Now I get it. We all make the jokes. Yeah, I understand why all the boys in that class like that class and everything else, but it's still wrong.
It is wrong.
But do you ever notice though? When you ever notice these stories, the only female teachers that ever get caught, because it happens a lot more than people think it does.
Right.
Okay. Is for the boys that won't keep their mouths shut.
Yes.
And it says, "Oh, he felt unsafe and told his parents." No,
well,
he
told
didn't.
His buddies.
He told somebody, and one of his buddies was blabbing off at the mouth, and a parent caught wind of it and went back to his parents, and that's the story that got drummed up. He felt unsafe.
And I came.
When they were doing this, according to the story, they've been doing this for a while.
Ugh.
This wasn't something like it started last week. She was showing up to his house at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, sneaking into the room, having sex with him. They were sending nude photos back and forth to each other, all kinds of stuff. So this is not like it's something It's not like it was something that was it just started and the kid felt awkward and scared about it.
Right. This is obviously an ongoing relationship.
And this ain't the first one. Supposedly, there's reports of her doing it with others.
Usually, if they don't get caught on the first one, this behavior continues.
Oh, and they expand until they get caught. Look at most of the male. Look at most of the male child sex predators that they catch. They never catch them with one picture of child pornography.
It's several.
It's terabytes of child pornography.
It's disgusting.
You know, and in this situation, they're going to dig into this woman's background. They're going to do an investigation on her property and everything else. They're going to find all kinds of shit. And then, you know, but like I said, we make the joke when it's a female teacher, but we all sit there and want to immediately burn the witch when it's a male teacher.
There is a double standard when it comes to this.
But I'm the same way on both of them. You know what? She needs to be executed too. I've always believed that there's three types of people guaranteed execution that are outside of what we already do. Anybody who rapes an individual, okay? Anybody who molests a child.
Yes. Dead.
Okay? And anybody who has child pornography. And I mean legitimate, not there is some that have been rated as child pornography. Like there's people that take photographs of their own children doing like normal children things.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a
like there was one guy that actually got 5 years in prison because he took pictures of his kid in the bathtub, taking a bath.
Pictures of me with I remember the doll. I don't remember the incident necessarily.
But those are three types of people. Raping, if you rape somebody, molest somebody, or you have photographs of little children that are naked or all kinds of bad shit,
right.
Naked, they need to be executed. We don't need rehabilitation for these people. We don't need surgery for these people. All we need is 5 people with firearms and tie them to a post. Real simple. Because guess what? I'm pretty sure we could find 5 people that didn't even need to get paid for it, and they probably supply their own fucking firearms, so we wouldn't even need to pay for that.
Right.
That's just my feelings about it.
I agree. I mean, it's completely wrong. Like, I have no place for anyone in my life who wants that, and I don't necessarily think they should be shot. I think it'd be more satisfying.
Mike volunteers as tribute.
I
wouldn't even wear the executioner's hood. I'll let them know who's about to pull the trigger. I'll have a smile on my face while I'm doing it, too, because I'm a sick bastard.
I think if we brought back public punishment for a lot of these things, such as the public hangings, things like that, if you molest someone, public sterilization without anesthesia.
I'll just walk right up with a damn machete, have somebody with a rubber glove on, pulling their dick out, and all of a sudden, whack.
Pretty much, like, I think...
It'd be a different...
There are countries that do things like that. You rape someone...
They cut your junk off.
In front of everyone.
Yep, and then they take a hot iron, and they cauterize it. They cauterize it. Sorry, I was about to say solderize. Okay.
I mean, they're going to die of infection eventually because I wouldn't take any safety standards.
No.
And I'd let them lie there.
Remember, it's considered cruel and unusual punishment, no matter the
It's
fact
cruel
that it was
and
cruel and
unusual.
unusual what they did to the children.
Right. And, any individual that has suffered from a sexual assault or rape.
I have not. So, I can't speak to that. There's always people who say, well, I can understand what they're going through. I can't. I guess I was one of those lucky ones that never had that happen to them when I was a child, or when I was later on in life, I guess. But, I mean, I consider myself lucky compared to everybody I know. But I will tell you right now that I won't stand for it. Not at all. I'm not going to tell you whether or not in the sheriff's department, whether we did certain things to people that we knew were doing it, had been arrested, had served time and everything else. Innocent until proven guilty has been rendered obsolete since the advent of social media, mob mentality, which hunts in the favor are the flavor of the courts, it seems. No, okay.
Not only that, but I mean, you didn't have...
Seriously, somebody is let's find out who's trying to call the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, welcome to the Rich and Miranda Show. You're live on air. Who is this? Hi, Sherry. You're live on the Rich and Miranda show.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? We're not quite sure where...
I'm looking up airlines.
Oh, you're looking up airlines? I'll tell you what, after the show, why don't I give you a call back?
Okay.
All right. All right.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Never had a call on a show before.
Yes,
And
we have.
We have?
Not necessarily when we're
No,
doing
no.
it, but it's happened while you and Raj were doing a show.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think I answered it.
Yes, you did. Crispy and Bubba both.
Oh, yes. Well, unfortunately, now I have to start the live broadcast all over again over here, which I actually...
We can just end it. Just end it. They don't need warning. They know where to find us.
No. All right. Well, now...
We're not hiding.
Now we're not even...
There we are.
I flipped the camera on the wrong way.
That's my doll. Don't put my...
There we go. Okay. So we're back. Sorry, folks. All right. That is your doll. But
That
anyway.
is my doll. Anyways.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it, Sherry. You're cool. So there we go. We're back. We're back now. Now, if any of you have my phone number, I'm not going to give it out. But if you do have my phone number and you want to call into the show and weigh in, I'm not going to stop you.
And if you have mine, some of y'all have mine.
I'm surprised y'all haven't done it yet. Just saying.
I just I don't know, that'd be funny. It could get crazy though. Anyways, moving on with the story.
Okay, so yeah, anywho, where we're at on that though is if you go to Google right now and you type AR-15 and hit shopping, it's gone.
You just backtracked 2 stories, bro.
Did I?
You just
Oh,
backtracked
never
2
mind.
stories.
Sorry. Okay, so my bad. My brain was still stuck somewhere else.
Anything that involves sexual assault or rape, no matter statutory included,
No, you should be executed.
Yes, done.
Gone.
Done.
That should be capital punishment. Because you should be dead.
You should be it's disgusting.
It is.
But yeah.
Yeah, now other people are commenting on the old video now, so now my Facebook page is going to start going nuts. All right, so anyway, so there we go. So here's another thing. This one kind of hits home for you.
Yes.
Because we know today the Reverend Billy Graham was laid in state at the Capitol building. He's only the 4th civilian to lay in state at the Capitol building. Okay, it's usually reserved for presidents or high-ranking government officials.
Right.
Okay.
And he was considered the pastor of America.
He was, and for somebody who doesn't follow or didn't follow him, I will say though I did listen to things that he did say and stuff, and he was a very intelligent person.
He went to school. He had his doctorate in theology.
Yeah, he was very caring, very loving individual.
He did a lot of missionary work. Him and his family.
He passed away at the age of 99.
He did.
So well, anyway, they've got him laying in state to honor him, honor his service to the United States of America and everything that he's done. And unfortunately, our wonderful people who don't believe there's any religion whatsoever in the world out of the state of Wisconsin, enraged atheists condemned Congress for honoring the Reverend Billy Graham. The Freedom from Religion Foundation and other anti-religious groups are infuriated that Billy Graham lies in honor in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol, saying he was unworthy of such recognition. The Wisconsin-based atheist group wrote to Speaker Paul Ryan and Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to empathetically object to the U.S. Congress arranging to have a man known purely for his ministries, in his case an evangelical Christian ministry, lie in honor.
Regardless, you put religion aside, because I don't really feel like... Growing up, I listened to Billy Graham sermons all the time. Every time we didn't go to church on Sundays, my dad would put on his sermons.
Well, you grew up in the state that he was from.
I grew up in Western North Carolina, about 45 minutes from one of his estates, I think. At least it's the Billy Graham Center.
You lived in Western North Carolina. You probably lived 45 minutes from everything in Western North Carolina.
Pretty much.
It's not that's not the big section of the state.
It's not. But I don't feel like he would have. the person like him would not have needed religion to do the things that he did. Missionary work does not just mean spreading.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going
The
around the
religious
world
message.
helping people in the name of God. It just means you're going around the world to help people.
I mean, he's opened schools in villages, fed villages, sent out his family to all these different places, and has helped so many individuals.
He was a very good humanitarian.
And it's all started out on his own dime. Mm-hmm. It all started out on his own dime. And as people started realizing his cause, they started donating to it. But he started out on that path by himself. Yes, he made the decision to follow the God that he believed in.
Yes.
But religion aside, he was a good man. And
Yeah.
he did great things.
And nothing against him and his religion. And I think a lot of these times these atheists, there's some of them, I've met some atheists that are wonderful people that honestly do not believe that there is a God.
Right.
That we evolved from the earth and that we're just in this big circle of life that just happens. Okay? And they're great people and they're wonderful people and you can conversate about things and stuff like that. However, you get some of these goofballs that really don't understand the separation of church and state. They think that the separation of church and state means there is to be no religion in the government, no government in religion. Well, let me tell you something.
That's simply
I don't know how many of y'all been to a Sunday sermon. The government makes it into the sermon. Somehow.
Oh,
some
yeah.
way they make it into a sermon.
I mean,
whether you're Catholic, whether you're Mormon, whether you're Baptist, whether you're Pentecostal, it doesn't matter. You be Jewish. It works into the sermon. Okay?
a lot of times the minister or preacher, pastor, whatever you want to call him, will say, especially around election times, now let's pray for leading. It starts out let's pray for guidance on who we should vote for, and who will help lead our group forward.
I got that.
And things like that.
But however, the church, the separation of church and state, because that's what one of their big arguments is, okay? The definition of separation of church and state really is the church should not tell the government how it will legislate, nor will the government tell the church how it will worship.
Right.
Okay, that's all it is. There's nothing else. Government will not make a law that prohibits you from worshiping the way that you want to worship, as long as you're not hurting people. Okay? And the church cannot tell the government how it will run the country.
Right.
That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
I mean, we have several religion-based laws. Our Constitution.
Oh, well, I mean, think about it. We have a you can't murder clause. I kind of think that was covered in the Ten Commandments, wasn't it?
Old
Thou shalt
Testament.
not kill? Okay, but I mean, when you really think about it, though, okay, if people want to pray, let them pray. If people want to sit there and let me tell you something, Billy Graham did a lot of things for this country and did a lot of things for a lot of other countries. Billy Graham also has been sent as an envoy in tense situations for countries that are struggling through crisis, and instead of trying to work together to resolve those crises, they turn to war to resolve those crises. And Billy Graham himself has gone as an envoy to try and calm those crises. Okay, Billy Graham was used a lot, and I saw his name get brought up in the chat room. Billy Graham was used a lot by Jimmy Carter. Okay, so I think he's earned his right to lay in state in a rotunda in a Capitol building because of all the things he's done.
Yes.
It's just like I didn't argue when Rosa Parks was laying in state in a rotunda back in 2007. Okay, she earned it because of the things she did for the civil rights movement. Okay, so to sit there and say simply because he's a pastor and that's why he can't be there, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous that he can't be there. Okay, I can tell you right now, if somebody came along that was Jewish that did the things that Billy Graham had done or more, they get to lay in state. If somebody's an atheist that's done this shit or more that Billy Graham has done, let him lay in state. Let him be honored.
Religion doesn't make you a good person.
No, you make yourself the good person based off of your morals and your character. And his morals and character, and I don't agree with a lot of people that are overly religious because he was.
He was. He'd lay it to you straight.
He could not get in a conversation without flipping Jesus and God into it. But, but the thing is his character was straight. It was straight on the money. He wasn't like that. He wasn't like those TV evangelists you see on TV on Sunday mornings wanting
Such as Joel Osteen.
Yeah, like Joel Osteen, who until got pressured wouldn't open his mega church up to the hurricane victims in Houston. Okay, now there's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Okay, all about the money, but he wasn't. So I have no problem with it. I don't agree with him, his beliefs, but I don't have a problem with him laying in state because I know the things that he's done.
Right.
So to sit there and say they only put him there because of his religion is so unbelievably untrue. It's stupid. And why don't we go ahead and move on? Because we'll get in a war of words over here over religious beliefs.
Yeah, I mean...
let me try to catch up with Bacon here. Joel Osteen not opening a stadium, which I just covered. I wasn't even reading that part. Mother Teresa teaching people to accept suffering and hunger as tributes to God, but then the second she got sick, she went to the best hospital in the world. Yeah, Mother Teresa, that move was not exactly the brightest. I have no problem with people living the things they say, but to say I am unworthy because I don't believe how they do is infuriating. I'm trying to understand that one.
I think he's saying when it comes to people who get overzealous with their viewpoints in religion.
Oh, there's people that take their religion way too far.
And you're not. So, do you mind if I...
What?
Would you mind saying what you believe in?
I'm pagan.
And I am Christian.
I tell you right now, I'm not a Christian.
Now, we have been able to live in this house since June?
Yes.
Since June. And we have calmly discussed our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's told me if there was ever anything important to me about my religion, then he would respect that. And I told him the same. For Christmas and for Yule, they had traditional Yule things.
We also did. We also did Halloween. We did, yeah.
But Christmas was the big merging of both of our religions because at Christmas all the Yule things were put out, but also they put out a nativity set, which I didn't even know about until our other roommate Rachel pulled it out.
Yep.
They pulled out a nativity set to respect my religion as well. Just because you believe differently doesn't mean you have to be a douchebag.
No, and I get it all the time. As soon as I get told all the time, somebody hears I'm pagan and they immediately, oh, you worship the devil and you're going to hell. I don't worship the devil because the devil is Christian in orientation, and I'm not a Christian, so I'm like, how can I worship the devil? But anyway, so let's move on. Okay, let's get out of there.
We don't need to get into theology. No. It would be a long night. Maybe we could do that sometime as a show.
And we could, except there's only one problem is
we only have two viewpoints.
Well, no, that's not it, because I've studied almost every religion in the world.
No.
When I went to a very dark place in my life, I was researching a way out, and I was trying to find it through faith, which I did. But it took me to a place that I never even thought I would go.
Right.
But it brings me peace. But anywho, we could do a show like that, but we only got one catch to that. We'd have to plan that bitch well in advance because you're going to be in El Paso and I'm going to be in Florida.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, if we ever get the Skype thing figured out, we could do it. We could do it remotely. Next week's show.
I think we need more time to prepare.
We would definitely, for that one, need to be, because we'd have to be careful about it.
We would have to be very careful not to. I mean, I can say things now that I know I have knowledge on that could actually prove.
Our station manager.
2 weeks from now is Spring War.
Yeah. We can always do a live religious debate from Spring War.
At Circle.
At beer pong.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. Anyways, moving on to the next story.
Okay, so the DOJ is looking into possible obstruction charges against the mayor of Oakland. All right, so those of you guys don't know what's going on, this past week and upcoming weeks, ICE, the Department of Immigration Control and Enforcement, don't ever do the dumb thing of going to McDonald's that has mostly Hispanic people and saying, hey, can I have a Coke? No ice.
La Migra.
They don't like that joke. Okay, that went around a while. But anyway, currently the DOJ is enforcing, once again, Obama-era policy.
Yes.
Okay, Obama-era policy, which we'll get to that other one. We'll discuss that to close the show out that you have. Okay. about stepping up immigration. And a lot of people still, of course, again, saying this is all Donald Trump. And it's not. That Donald Trump's policies on immigration still haven't even kicked in. So anyway, ICE has been going around enforcing the deportation orders that they already have. Okay. Well, this weekend they did over 150 arrests this past week. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, as soon as the mayor of Oakland, that would be Libby Schaaf, I think, or Schaaf, Shaft. It's Schaaf. I don't know.
Schaaf.
Probably Schaaf.
Schaaf.
Okay, so Schaaf. Libby Schaaf.
Freaking German.
As soon as it. What do the Germans have to do?
I mean, that's a Germanic last name.
I don't know if it is or not.
Dutch?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Schaaf could be anything nowadays.
You're right.
So anyway.
I'm sorry for assuming their nationality.
You just assume somebody's nationality.
Oh, God.
That's like assuming somebody's gender.
Oh, God. You know,
well, that speaks of sports story I do want to talk about.
I am a albino transmutated hamster.
Can I just be like what Shapiro when he said, "Why can't you be a horse?" Or no, he asked that girl, "Why can't you be a cow?" And I swear it was a Freudian slip for it because the girl that was talking to him in that press conference was kind of chubby. Did you notice that? If you now that I said that, are you picturing it in your mind? Why can't you be a cow?
Because I remember him.
But of course you can't. Oh. Okay, but anyway, but so forth. Anyways, once she found out that ICE was starting to do raids, somebody told her that ICE was doing raids. She immediately called the neighborhoods that are predominantly Hispanic. He started going out and sending out robocalls, letting them know that ICE is coming. So now the Department of Justice is looking into whether or not she was obstructing justice, because if people got away where they had a warrant for their arrest, that's an obstruction of justice. Like me being a sheriff, look back on my experience, if I'm a sheriff's deputy and you and Raj are living in a house and you know that I'm coming with a warrant, right? And you let him know that I'm coming, and he ducks out, I can arrest you. I'm using you as an example because you are the station manager and you're the person here right now. So get over it. So anyway, if Officer Raj is coming to serve a warrant on me, okay, and you tell me that he's coming,
hey Rich, you're about to get arrested. You should probably get the fuck out of there.
Officer Raj is now going to not only arrest me eventually.
They'll go back and check your phone records.
No, he's going to go arrest you, because they're going to, when they get me, they're like, well, how'd you know we were coming? Well, if I need to make a deal to get a little bit less, to get that fleeing charge thrown out, I'm like, she told me.
Bus me.
And you now got a felony for obstruction of justice. Well, the thing is, what they're discussing now is it just going to be one count of obstruction? Or
150?
Are they going to get... No.
Everyone in that neighborhood who was illegal
Every
that she
single
warned.
neighborhood that she called, they're talking about the possibility of putting her on... No, I won't do that. Obstruction of justice charges for every single number that was contacted.
Good God.
She would be looking at somewhere in a neighborhood of 10,000 felony counts of obstruction.
Talk about like multiple lifetime sentences.
Now here's the thing, and of course CNN was all about how great she was and how much of a humanitarian she was.
She still broke the law.
Here's the problem with that. 150 of them that they went after, over 100 of them had prior multiple felony records. Not just, oops, I stabbed a guy one time. There was one that they arrested. The man had been convicted and deported on 9 murders.
Good God Almighty! Like
he served 15 years of his sentence, and because he was a model inmate, they elected to go ahead and deport him back to Mexico. He came back, and they arrested him.
Build that wall.
So 100 of them with prior multiple felonies. Not a single felony. Not, oops, I was speeding down the highway and forgot to show up for my court appearance.
Yeah.
Warrants. No, these people did some bad shit. Okay?
And you're warning them.
And you're sitting there warning these people, saying, and her response, her excuse. Well, we believe that our community is stronger as long as we keep the families together.
Yeah, until like one dude loses cookies and kills everyone.
One of the ones they arrested, the guy has warrants in 6 states for child indecency with children and molestation. These are model citizens that we need in our community there, Mayor.
So model. Much citizen.
The problem is the people in Oakland are so moronic and liberal that they'll vote for her again anyway. They'll give her a humanitarian award for the city of Oakland for it.
Ticker tape parade.
Understand it. ICE isn't, the media keeps blowing these stories up. Like, once in a great while, ICE will snag somebody it may be here illegally, but has never done anything wrong. Okay, and could probably be going to school or working a job and contributing to society, okay? Yes, but the media will spend 3 days talking about how they deported this innocent illegal citizen. But they're not... When I went through CNN's page, you know how much they covered on the DOJ looking at her? They had 3 lines.
She is currently being invested by the DOJ. They have not reached a conclusion at this point.
And that's where it stopped. It didn't even say anything about her letting know that ICE was trying to deport people that have felony warrants that are here illegally. Okay, they didn't even cover that. Okay, I had to look it up on BBC News. The British news. To get the full story.
Oh, BBC loves putting America on blast.
Oh, they'll put anything in America on blast. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's sad though when you have to
British
go to a different
left.
country.
The British have both the left and the right too.
Yes, they do.
Because in fact, their entire country hates the fact that we still have the death penalty. They think that's asinine.
County Sheriff Sally Hernandez stated she would not cooperate with ICE.
That's very true. She did. She said that if ICE showed up in her district and had a warrant. Or if one of her officers made an arrest on a person who could not identify themselves as a citizen, and if ICE said, hey, you need to hold this guy, we have a warrant, guess what? She ain't holding him.
There is a difference between being a citizen, though, and being here legally on a visa or something like that.
No, what I'm saying is if they arrest a person...
And they can't prove
that they're here legally.
Right, okay.
They still put in the information they have in the database. They still run their fingerprints. If ICE has their fingerprints on file, it will automatically trigger to them. It will send them a notification that a law enforcement agency has arrested this individual. They will contact that law enforcement agency and say, hey, you need to hold them so we can come get them. She already said she ain't doing it. She's releasing them. So, I mean...
Malarkey.
These people are idiots.
They are.
They broke the fucking law. I tell you what, if I go out and I knock off a 7-Eleven, can I just get let go? I mean, I'm breaking the law too.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, in the words of station management.
Fucking idiots!
Don't be fucking stupid.
Don't do it.
See, I even got the eyebrow. I got the scowl down too. So anyway, so there's that. So okay, so now another story. We talked about the whole transgender thing and everything, and that popped up in the conversation. So one of the stories I want to talk about it's a story that I think they've got this completely wrong on. There's a kid in Texas, okay, born a girl, okay. Obviously, you look at her, she was not supposed to be a girl.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks like a boy.
Okay.
You know, wrestles. Okay, varsity wrestler. Okay, is in the process of transitioning to being a male.
Taking hormones and things like that.
Wants to wrestle in the boys division because I'm just going to go say because he that's how he wants to be identified as. He dominates, has gone undefeated, and just destroys the girls division.
Yes.
And wants to move to the men's division.
I feel
in
like
wrestling. They won't let him because his birth certificate says that he's a girl.
So, with that, I have friends that have done it and people in the community, the LGBTQ community. Once they go through a transition, and their transition is to the point where they have obviously reached the stage of where they look like now what they want to look like, they can get their birth certificate changed.
Yes.
Now, I feel...
Texas is not one of them.
But I feel like also that would come down to the person's age as well. Like, they would probably have to be at least 18, and if this is high school age, if he is a senior and already 18, and maybe he wasn't born... Was he born in Texas?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that would be something to have to bring to the LGBTQ community.
I'll cover that in a second, Bacon.
But I mean, you look at the reverse. There's been stories a while back, a male to female transitioner who also did wrestling. They let her...
This was in the Olympics. What you're talking about right now?
No, this was in high school.
No. This also happened in the Olympics, and the Olympics allowed it.
But they are letting male to female transitioners compete in female sports.
Which they already have. The male has a higher testosterone level in their body. And, they already... And nothing against women.
Up until a certain point of working out and dieting and exercising, the musculature between a male and female is vastly different.
Mm-hmm. Well, and besides that, because the testosterone that the male body produces, it biologically makes us stronger. Okay, so it's and now Bacon, to cover what you said, testosterone is a performance enhancing drug. Okay, yes, certain testosterone makeups are performance enhancing drugs which are banned from even high school athletics. Okay. The testosterone supplements that physicians give to people transitioning is not considered a severe performance enhancing. All it is a testosterone supplement to help program the brain to start producing testosterone on its own.
Right. One of my
or a higher level of it. So it's not we're not talking like Mark McGuire here, where 1 year he's playing for the Oakland A's and he's he's only like 180 pounds soaking wet, and then the next year he's playing for the Cardinals and he's 300 pounds and can pick your car up with one hand.
Right.
Kind of testosterone here.
I know an adult who went through the transition later in life. His name is Mel.
See this? This is not steroids to make me to change your sex. This is steroids to make you go, I'm kicking your ass. Right there. Okay.
Anyways, I know a transgender man. His name is Mel. And he was doing the testosterone boosters. Mm-hmm. And they actually had him on a topical cream.
Okay.
And it did not...
What do you want me to try, Todd? Testosterone?
It did not affect necessarily... The way that he said that it affected him was that it made him feel normal. But he did not feel jacked or juiced or anything like it. Just... When he was doing the topical testosterone, because his liver could not handle the... I think they were injections at first. I think they were going through injections at first. Their liver could not handle the injections, so they went to the topical. Mm-hmm. And the transition from... Because this is a process. You have to find what works best for you and your transition.
Yeah, exactly.
The injections made him angry all the time. He was not himself, and it was killing his liver.
Yes.
As soon as he switched from the topical... Or to the topical... He became more like his normal self before the transition, but just now he said he felt right.
I agree with our station manager. Maybe you just needed a Snickers. Because, you're not yourself.
If you didn't... That's it. I had to watch that transition, and it was very hard.
You still find it... I'm pretty sure even now that joke would be found funny by...
It would be. They probably made it at the time, because I met them shortly... I met them when they were not on any testosterone.
It's not shut up. You know what? I'm about to. I'm about to go. I'm about to go to the same thing we did with what's his name, Bodhi. So, but anyway, it's I tell you what, if I was going through all that, I would have probably thrown that joke out after Snickers started doing those commercials. I'm like, look, Snickers did commercials about me with actors. I'm just not myself without a Snickers.
I thought they all retired. Oh, there are still
it's
a joke.
It's Black Wolf and Crispy.
Ah.
So anyway, no, but so like I said, though, I think they've got it wrong. I think they should allow him to go ahead and fight or wrestle in the boys division. I'm pretty sure that the division, or he would find a lot more competition in that division than he would. But anyway, one of the follow-up stories we want to do that involves the Florida shooting. This is something that's come out lately.
Yes.
And this was and originally it was brought up by Rush Limbaugh.
You heard it from Rush Limbaugh. I heard it from Milo.
Okay, but and we both know that those guys are very conservative.
Super conservative.
So we went back and we checked. We fact-checked this to make sure that this was accurate, and it is absolutely accurate. One of the theories that's floating around about why the Cruz, this guy who did the shooting, was not...
He was not arrested.
He was not... When they took him into custody, they didn't arrest him.
They didn't Miranda him, anything.
If any of y'all are wondering about that, they did not actually read him. They did not arrest him and at the time when they first... Now they have. And there is charges. They've got the charges and everything on him now. But they were initially, for the first 48 hours, there was no charges, no nothing. They just took him into custody.
He was just detained.
Okay. And a couple other reporters started looking into this. Okay. And started to find out what in the hell is going on. Well, come to find out, there was a little policy that went out.
An Obama-era policy.
During the Obama administration that explains it. And go ahead.
So there is this program between several... I guess, legal entities? Not necessarily I don't know how to describe these people.
Well, this is just covering the state of Florida.
Right.
For the collaborative agreement.
What Florida calls it, and I'm sure, I just researched the one in Florida, in this particular section of the state. What they call it is the Promise Program. Mm-hmm. And what it is a program to slow down the arrest rates of students
and suspensions and expulsions.
And suspensions and expulsions of students who are minorities. Mm-hmm. It does not matter what they do, but the school system has to try everything in its power to not punish this child.
The Obama and Eric Holder, Eric Holder was the head of the DOJ under the Obama administration, strongly urged. And when I mean strongly urged, they strongly urged through financial means.
If you got a certain quota, you would receive so much financial backing for your state's education program.
Yeah, and of course one of the biggest results of receiving money was the state of Detroit, Michigan. The school system of Detroit, Michigan received millions and millions of dollars by going along with this. We strongly suggest you stop suspending minorities.
And then that fat stack of cash right there. From what I've read about Nicholas Cruz, his teachers were genuinely terrified of him. There was one teacher that went unnamed that said that she would not want to be left alone in a room with this individual. Yeah. His behavior would escalate his behavior would escalate very quickly in classes.
He would go to extremes. He would be one thing 1 minute and then all of a sudden just be off the freaking handle the next.
And they did not try to do anything to control or fix this behavior. This child...
And this went on for a while because I know some of you go, well, he was expelled finally. Yeah, finally, after so many incidents. Because, unfortunately, they labeled him as a minority. And here's where the funny thing is. Okay, here's the funny thing about that. Right?
CNN,
when this first broke out, said he was Latino. Then they realized that that doesn't fit their narrative, so they changed it to
White Latino.
white. Actually, no, they used the words white Mexican. Then they rolled it back even further. Now he's just a Caucasian.
Yeah.
Which means then wouldn't that mean then all the money that Florida school received for not doing anything to him should be returned because now he's a Caucasian?
But just from reading up on this individual, this child, I mean, let's put it honestly, he is a child. He's still in school.
No, he was 19 years old.
Legally an adult, but
he's
mentally,
an adult. Mentally he was a child.
Mentally a child. He gave off several warning signs.
He even told
along
students
the years.
he told students he was going to come to the school and blow it up and shoot people.
But because of this, it's called the Promise Agreement or Promise Policy or whatever for this particular section of Florida. They did nothing because he was a minority, and it would affect. Sorry, they did nothing because he was a minority, so they could keep their quota and get their money.
Yeah. The Florida school district, the Florida school systems received all kinds of money out of this. Every state has. Don't think that no state is clean on this issue. And the whole, let me break down the basis of this policy. Basically what it was is that somebody did a report once and said that minorities were being unfairly treated in the school systems and the police departments and being arrested at much higher rates than whites. Okay.
Like per population or?
Well, just period across the board.
Okay.
And the public education system in America, minorities were being treated unfairly, penalization-wise to whites. Okay, and in law enforcement, we all know the argument that black people are arrested way more than white people. Argument that's been going around forever. Okay, you know, what is it? Antifa loves to bring that one up. So does the other ones. However, okay, so what the Obama administration with Eric Holder decided to do was put out this incentive, saying that we strongly suggest you curtail going after minorities. The theory was that they believed this report, and that could get if they offered money to the schools would stop suspending and expelling minorities, or at least make it level. That's one of the reasons why this Cruz character got away with as much as he did for as long as he did, and nobody did anything. Now, don't get me wrong, the FBI I think the FBI is guilty as fucking sin in this, because they were told multiple times, they received multiple reports about this guy and didn't do anything. The FBI could have flagged his file immediately. They could have flagged his social security number.
There were several steps that could have been implemented.
Let me finish that line. The moment anybody called the FBI and said, hey, this kid is threatening to come into the school and shoot up the place, the FBI, and this was before he had purchased his first gun, when the first warning went out, because they looked at when he's purchased these guns. The warnings went to the FBI, started before he had bought the guns. And if the FBI would have simply just put a flag on his social security number,
then he wouldn't be able to purchase them.
He wouldn't have been able to walk in and buy a gun. Because the moment he'd have gone to do the Brady background, it would immediately popped up. Hey, FBI's looking into this guy. You know, and we're not. The FBI hasn't said why or hasn't cleared it. So guess what? We're denying it. And then a report comes back to the guy with a gun that's selling a gun, and then it comes back. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If the FBI would have done that and he still wanted to pull off the mission, guess what? There's a black market. You could buy a fucking tank in the United States of America that operates. Just saying. The DEA has busted more than a couple people for actually owning a working tank. Every one of them so far has been like Sherman's. But not exactly like you could probably get away with an M1A2 Abrams for sale. I think they'd notice. But anywho, you know, that was the deal. So you've got this situation where these school districts are getting money, and these people are getting away with this and doing all these things. And I've been listening to radio all week, and there's been people from the Austin Independent School District, teachers that have quit because certain individuals fell under this policy, and the Austin ISD wanted their money. artillery is back at it again, and wanted their money. So they did everything they could. They even know that one teacher, he told one of his other teacher friends about this in another high school. Lo and behold, he thought this kid had been expelled because this kid not only spit on him, smacked him, and hit him upside the head with a book. They finally expelled him after like the 5th occurrence. They didn't expel him. They transferred him to a different high school. Because as soon as he
making someone else's problem.
As soon as he explained that student to another teacher, they said, wow, it sounds a lot like this other kid we got. And they said, what's his name? And they said, the name. He goes, that's the kid over here. They just transferred him to another school. So some of these problem children, they're just bouncing them around. Okay, well, he's a problem in this high school, so let's move him over to the other high school. And you know what? And they found out that Austin ISD has a bus service that moves these kids around. You know, and they're getting all this money.
I understand why.
This situation is not only exposed that we have a problem with people with mental disorders getting firearms. We can all agree that we need a better system to categorize people with mental disorders keeping from firearms. But it has also exposed a great number of several other things that are not gun related that are wrong.
Yes.
And I really hope. Well, my uncle's a sheriff, so I'll say, just like I was. But he said, I can hold somebody up to 72 hours without application of charge. During this time, I don't need to Mirandize him until asking questions. In a case like this, I would take time to see the totality of the incident. You are correct, Carl. You are correct on that. However, I think they had him for 5 days before they officially charged him, which is well outside the 72 hours.
Crispy said, okay, devil's advocate, we restrict their monies for operations to almost nil. It is only natural that they will try anything to get funds to keep running and will be very hesitant to neglectful trying to keep those funds. This school has 11 buildings and several different programs involved with it. I don't think funding was an issue.
No, this school district, considered one of the safest in the United States of America, was also, I believe it was in the top 500 for the most well-funded schools in America. That's not private. Public school. Yeah, no crap, I know. I wish we could turn the air conditioner on.
I'll be right back.
But it's, it's just one of those things that, these school districts are we're finding out as these things go along that these school districts are pretty goddamn bad, about a lot of things. And it's unfortunate. No, Kill Mill's on the check for us. It's unfortunate that these things are going on, and we're finding out a lot more and more after the shooting of a lot of problems that we have going on.
There's just a lot of issues in general. Like, this was probably one of the more disturbing things to find. Like, how many, and don't take this as, I guess, playing the race card, but that's pretty much exactly what this is. If this was a white child, they would have been all over that. If this was a Muslim child, they would have been all
well, if this was a Muslim
over
child,
that.
they would immediately started saying that this was homegrown terrorism.
I mean, it is literally because this child, or this particular individual, is of a, I guess, a more well-known minority descent that no one actually has a huge fear of right now.
Well, the thing is that one of the issues that I see with this is, okay, all right, let's just say what everybody thinks is that he's Hispanic.
Right.
Okay. All right. And so now, and the thing is, the left is doing its damnedest in this situation to blame everybody but the guy who did it. Because it's a minority. If this was a white kid that went in and shot up a school, they'd be blaming the kid and his parents, and everybody had been thrown under the bus.
If this was a Muslim child.
This was directly related to this child. Everybody.
If it was a Muslim child, homegrown terrorism, they were raised to be like this. This is jihad.
There is always an excuse, but because we're in a sensitive time right now dealing with immigration and everything else. We're going to blame every single person but the person firing the firearm. Including we're going to blame the gun. But we're not going to blame the individual who did this. And that's who's at fault for this.
He made these choices by himself.
Hi, Mama. You know, finally people are starting to look at the red flags. Exactly. But the thing is, it's not the gun's fault. It's not the people who sold him the gun. Okay? They did everything by law. They have proven over and over again that he cleared every one of the background checks when he purchased the guns that he purchased. He was 18 years of age or older. Okay? And he passed. However, the problem is, he had been seen by a psychologist prior to buying these firearms. Even one of his own psychologists has said he didn't feel comfortable around him. And he had asked him to be, and he actually passed him off to another psychologist. So there's an issue that we have. That yes, maybe psychologists, and I agree with this, if you go see a psychologist during your discussion with them determines that you as an individual should not be in possession of a firearm, should be able to go into the FBI database, should be able to put in your social security number and click a simple box.
Make it like a memorandum or something.
No, but all they got to do, go on the website, go to FBI, say, I am a licensed psychologist. You give your name and your licensing information. And then you put the person's social security number in. And the only thing that pops up the moment you do is a
Yes or no.
line. Do you think this or should this person be in possession of a firearm or weapon? Yes, no. If you click no, it automatically flags them. And if they are currently in possession of any firearms that are registered, FBI contacts local law enforcement and lets them know, hey, the psychologist just stated this person is a danger. And then the sheriff's department can come out and be very nice about it and say, hey, this has gone on. We got a report from the FBI that you have firearms. We are going to take possession of them until you're deemed fit to be able to own them again. And it can be done very diplomatically and very fairly.
The only issue is if they already have those weapons and the government comes to seize them,
the
that's
problem
going
is
to
you're
cause
probably
another
going to have
war.
to show up with SWAT to the house to get the firearms. Or they're going to have to be sitting on the corner over.
That will definitely cause war because this is how that story would get spun. Government goes to so-and-so's house to retrieve their weapons.
Okay.
Because you know that's not going to stay quiet.
Crispy asked a very valid question on this. Okay, what happens if an anti-gun counselor goes in and just starts tagging anyone he or she feels like? Okay. Then let's do this. The FBI at that point, okay, once they get the report, this person's not safe to have a firearm. At that point, another counselor, the FBI will then contact a counselor, a licensed counselor that's in their registry, to go evaluate this person to verify they check yes or no.
So what happens to the taxpayer dollars when that's going on?
You know what? If it saves a bunch of kids from getting shot up in a fucking school, I don't care if my taxes go up slightly to pay for it.
Because that would be another argument.
I get that, and I don't care if it saves somebody's life from keeping a psychopath from getting a gun. I don't care. If it means a brother or sister of mine in law enforcement is not shot and killed in the street because the psychopath has a gun, I'm okay with that. Now, it doesn't stop the black market. There's no way to stop the black market. Okay? But at least it's a step in the right direction.
Does it stop the crime rate in Detroit, Chicago, NY, or LA? Chicago has one of the highest, has some of the strictest.
Detroit has the, okay, go ahead.
Chicago, I know, has some of the strictest, if not the strictest, gun laws.
Yes.
In the country.
Yes.
And gun violence.
Second only to DC.
Gun violence there is ridiculous.
Well, same thing in Detroit. Detroit has the highest murder rate in the world, almost in the known world. Okay? And a lot of these firearms that they're going around in Detroit, whether or not you want to believe in what the left likes to say, a lot of the firearms involved in these shootings in Detroit, not legally purchased or owned by felons. Yeah, Chicago is really trying for the title of America's largest outdoor gun range. Yeah.
I feel like we've honestly beat this horse as much as
Okay,
we can
how
beat
about
it.
the counselor just contacts the FBI with his concerns, and they contact him or her back to determine whether the warning is legit. Yeah, and that's fine if there's a way to do it, but I think there still needs to be a way that once somebody's determined on, say, okay, I tell you what, the moment they deem that this person needs further psychiatric treatment, then then they could click it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they could click yes or no. But if it's just a, hey, once every month, Bob, could you come in so we can talk about your feelings? Maybe not. And there's ways to work, and there's a lot of work that would need and refinement that would need to be done on it. But I'm just saying is, I'm okay if my tax dollars go up as a way to link psychologists, people's psychological disorders, and not buying firearms. The Virginia Tech massacre. First of all, not a rifle. Handguns. Multiple.
And he was just super efficient with them.
And guess what? A month prior, he got put on some severe antipsychotic medication. And didn't take them, bought guns, and shot a bunch of people in Virginia Tech. So I don't think it's the AR-15 that's the issue. I think it's psychopaths with guns.
Yes.
Maybe? It's not the gun. It's the person. But anyway. So, that's that. Was there any other things that you...
Going to Amtgard.
Spring War!
It is coming up. Murky Waters is doing their annual beer pong tournament. I'm just saying this year the prize is pretty dope. I might be a little biased, though. There's also several other social events happening. Tournaments. I think it's going to be a really good Spring War. We currently have are you Co-Feastocrat?
I'm Co-Feastocrat.
Co-Feastocrat.
We're catering Saturday night.
We are. And there will actually be servers, and so you can sit down at your table and drink and have fun and merry-make, and you don't even have to go through the line. You'll be given your food there. We will come up and take your orders.
No, we're not doing that.
No,
No, they shot that down.
What about for the vegans?
The vegans, though, we will have food for the vegans instead of just a fucking salad.
Yes.
Even if I got to go buy stuff myself, we're not doing just, hey, look, everybody else gets all this shit, you get salad. No.
Vegan/vegetarian. Not all vegetarians are vegan.
Well, this is true, but we'll have something for
a sustainable meal for people who do not eat meat.
Yes. Okay. There's a field full of grass. Okay, I'll stop. Bacon. Good God, man.
I've heard stories of bacon that, with some prompting, he will say the...
I can never pronounce his name properly.
Ducaire Florets, but he goes by Midnight.
Okay. Anyway. Midnight, I wish you could be there. You're a lot of fun to be around, a lot of fun to fight with and everything else.
And you're so adorable with your doggy ears.
I wish you could be there. Your personality is unbelievably infectious. But, yeah, so Spring War is going to be fucking amazing.
It will be.
And
there.
I will tell you right now, there will definitely not be a show from Wednesday all the way through Sunday. Now, Monday, I will probably do a show on my what was great, what was okay, and what fucking sucked about Spring War. But that won't be until Monday afterwards. So, why are you... Yeah, always hated not including veggies, vegies, and vegans.
Veggies and vegans.
Yeah.
But
asking them to pay for it. No, we're including them. We are. We're finding a way. So...
English is...
We must keep the water clean.
Yes.
I
think that came out.
That was on there.
Yeah.
That was on it. That was on a Nintendo game that was poorly translated from Korea.
Well, that is all I have.
I don't have any more either. I mean, I could talk all day about all kinds of random shit, but I mean that's...
We could make fake news again.
But a man was lost in Bulgaria today, but then he was found. And moving on to Ireland, there are potatoes in Ireland.
There are?
There are.
Oh.
They are not undergoing a potato famine. So anyway, that's all we have, folks, for the show tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. By the way, real quick, before we leave, we are now at 67 subscribers.
At 100.
At 100, we will take all the names of the people who subscribed. Now, all the people that revealed their name that subscribed.
Yes.
If you didn't reveal your name, sorry about your luck. We'll take whoever we got at that point. But once we have 100, we're putting all the names into a hat. We're gonna draw the name on the hat. And guess what?
The winner gets a free Toyota.
Yes, that's right. A Toyota. That's right. We will send it to you. By the way, we're still waiting our last winner to send us a photograph with their prize. We haven't received that yet. You have to take a photograph. The only restriction to this is you have to take a photograph with your prize. Okay? I don't care as long as it's not a private one, Mike. Take a photograph with your prize. Right?
Yes, Ben, there will be a tournament at Murky Waters this weekend. I will not be there. I have some business going on that day, but our lovely champion.
Yes, I'm running a tournament because I fucked up and forgot to run one at mid-rain.
Shit happens.
I did. I fucked up. I forgot to run one at mid-rain.
Let's not go down that.
We're running it this weekend. We're running our tournament this weekend. So, folks, if you could be at Murky Waters this weekend, tournament Sunday at Murky Waters.
What
Come
time?
fight the best of the best. Oh, it's 2 o'clock.
Our park starts at 2.
I would prefer for people, please start showing up at around 1. Make weapons inspection go faster. But yeah, so I think that comment was directed at you.
What?
I don't like Mike's private photos. Do you?
I don't like Mike's private photos. I have never received any of Mike's private photos.
Okay, well then I don't either. So I don't know who he's talking. Maybe he's talking to Bacon. He's telling Bacon. Bacon likes his private photos. Okay, so yes, please. You and the baby, be here. Sunday. And that's it. That's all we have. So, folks, ladies and gentlemen, for all of us here at the, I don't even know what we're going to call the studios anymore. We're just going to call it the Palace o' Love.
The place where we have to turn off the AC because it's too loud.
Yeah,
for the
in the base,
microphone,
we're
and I'm dying.
in the basement of a strip club. That's us right here. Folks, I'm Rich.
I'm Miranda.
And that's our station manager, Raj, over there. And we're saying good night, folks. Bye.